Hi, Dave here again, as we continue our tour of Scotland. In our last video, we toured the Inverness area. In this video, we travel to the Isle of Skye and spend 3 nights there. Skye is an amazing part of Scotland, and the legends that continue to be told about it. The scenery is unbelievable, and many places with absolutely unique scenery. As we left the Inverness area, it started to rain, and rained pretty much the whole day, with some small breaks in the rain from time to time. As we traveled across the Highlands area, the scenery was very moody, but we really enjoyed our drive. Now, before we get going, don't forget, if you like this video, give it a like and subscribe to my channel. And thank you to all of those who have already subscribed. Right near the bridge to Skye, we stopped at the Eilean Castle. It is a very popular stop for those touring Scotland, and rightly so. It is a beautiful castle. It was still raining when we got there, but it had let up some. We decided to take the time to take a tour inside the castle. It is from the McRae clan, and it was well worth the tour. We walked across the bridge that leads up to the castle, which sits on a small island, not much bigger than the castle itself. The outside looks like a castle from your dreams, and they had the inside set up like it would have been in the 1300s. They limited people from taking pictures while inside, but I was impressed by the whole way it was set up. In one room, there was a commemoration to Canadian John McRae, who wrote the poem "In Flanders Fields the Poppies Grow," which, when I was a kid, we read every November 11th on Remembrance Day. The outside was a delight to wander around and take in as much as we could of this amazing place. From here we traveled across the bridge to Skye and started across this amazing isle. We stopped for a few minutes to take in a waterfall at the side of the road, as it had almost stopped raining, and then we traveled on to Portree, where we were going to stay. Portree is the only town of any significance on Skye, and we managed to get a room in the main hotel in the town, but we had booked it a few months in advance, and it wasn't cheap. Portree is a quaint little town and was really quite picturesque. The hotel was old but well kept, and so was our room, though it was on the 3rd floor and a walk-up. The hotel also had 2 restaurants, one for evening meals and a different one for breakfast, which was included with the room. We had a full Scottish breakfast the first morning, and it was huge, really too much for every morning. The first night, we had dinner at the restaurant, as it was roast beef at quite a reasonable price, as it was on special. The town itself was quite interesting. It was set in a natural bay that was great for fishing boats to anchor. The hills on the far side lit up when the sun hit them, and there were these different colored houses down by the docks. People were always down on the stony beach collecting shells and broken artifacts. Right across the road from the hotel was a unique little restaurant that we ate at a couple of times. The next morning we headed north up the east coast of the Isle, and the first place we came to was the Old Man of Storr. The legend here is that this pointed rock is the thumb of a giant that was killed and buried here. You could see it from a distance, but as we pulled into the parking lot, it became real. I was not prepared for what was ahead. The path up to Storr was fairly wide, but steep, and after a half hour of climbing, Trudy decided she was close enough and stopped. I carried on, and then the stone steps started. It took another half hour to get above Storr and look back to the ocean with Storr in the picture. It was an amazing view. After enjoying the view for a bit, I decided I had had enough and headed back down. It was a beautiful sunny day up till that point, but on the way down it started to rain on and off. The whole hike took over 2.5 hours, and it was a hard hike, both up and down for this old guy. But I am glad I made the effort. The next stop was at Kilt Rock. By this time of day, things were getting crowded, but it was a captivating view both up and down the coast. There is also a very high waterfall here that flows off the cliff that we were standing on and into the sea. Kilt Rock is said to look like the pleats in a kilt that the Scottish men wore, and the piper who loved to play his bagpipes here. Can you see it? Then we were off to the Quiraing, an amazing part of Skye. Just a little north of Kilt Rock, there's a small winding road that heads up a mountain and across the north part of Skye. The road is a one-lane road with small places, turnouts, to let other cars pass. This area has the most beautiful scenery, and when you get to the top of the mountain, the view is absolutely breathtaking. At the top, there is a place to park and to look out over the whole area. From here, you can also hike on a number of trails through the mountains for a day hike or overnight. Legend has it that there is a milk-white cow said to graze on the grassy tabletop at dawn on a midsummer's day, who would only yield milk to a virgin maiden over 16 years of age. We traveled on across the Quiraing to the west coast. On the drive, we encountered a lot of sheep just roaming free and enjoying the fields. Just on the other side, we stopped for a few minutes at the Fairy Glen before heading back to Portree for the evening. In folklore, these fairies are not small, but powerful, magical beings, and the Fairy Glen is thought to be one of their dwelling places, a sacred site where they live and protect the land. The next morning, we were up early again, and after breakfast, we headed straight across the Isle to Dunvegan Castle. It was another beautiful castle that has been wonderfully restored to its original beauty and was a delight to go through. The stairs just inside the front door were majestic, and the rooms made you feel like you had journeyed back in time. The outside was a photographer's delight. They also had a beautiful garden in front of the castle. The legend here is about a fairy flag and its magical powers, which is at the heart of many myths and legends. The fairy flag is said to possess supernatural powers and is believed to be able to aid the clan in times of need. We then traveled on to Neist Point, along more narrow one-lane roads right over to the west side, where we came to this amazing place. I couldn't get over the views from the top of the bluff out to the lighthouse. Looking out over the ocean and realizing that over there, at the other side of the ocean, was where we lived. The bluffs to the left were incredible. It all seemed a bit like a fairy tale to me. We could have walked down to the bottom and then out to the lighthouse, but that was a hike for some younger legs. We didn't want to leave, but the day was fleeting and we had one more stop to make. So we backtracked to a bigger road and headed south to the fairy pools. As we traveled, there was a never-ending number of amazing landscapes to stop and take in. When I first saw these mountains on the drive, I didn't know that was where we were headed. The fairy pools are created by water running off these mountains. When we got there, we saw that there was a steep walking path down from the parking lot to the beginning, really the end of the pools. We hiked down and then started back up a walkway right along the side of the pools. It was a good walk, and we were wondering if we had the legs to get back up to the car. The pools were like a series of small cascading waterfalls with a pool at the bottom of each cascade, where the fairies come to bathe on a moonlit night, the legend goes. By the time we got back to the car, we were ready to head back to the hotel for the night. On the way, though, we were driving past the Slegachan old bridge and just had to stop for a few minutes. Then we went back to Portree for the night. I trust you enjoyed this video. This was my favorite part of Scotland, but the whole trip to Scotland was super special. In my next video, we are going to spend some time in the Highlands, another delightful part of Scotland. So come back in a couple of weeks as we continue our tour of Scotland.